Hello, this is Joe Pryor, the virtual real estate team in Oklahoma that's servicing the Oklahoma City and Tulsa metro areas for investment real estate, something I've been doing now for almost 35 years. And what I want to talk about today is to everything there is a season, to quote the birds, and also a little bit of the Old Testament. And that is what is seriously important about rental rates. Every market's going to be a little bit different. And so first thing I want to talk about is analyzing something like the Oklahoma City and Tulsa markets. Because there's got to be a prime rental season and then a not so prime rental season. Not a bad season. We don't really have a bad season, but let's talk about the better season. So let's talk about the weather first and foremost, because that's going to affect a lot of things in other markets too. So in Oklahoma, we have all seasons. We have all four seasons. And so winter, everything goes brown or tan. We have Bermuda grass. It goes dormant in the winter. It's not dead, but it's tan. And what it needs is heat and it needs water. And then it becomes very green and it can resist up to, it's 100 degrees. It's fine. It's the best hot weather grass that you can use. But it starts greening up in March, April. People start planting flowers. And so there's a mood thing about that. That's something that's extremely important. But let's talk about the most important thing in our market, which is schools. So the primary thing that we do with single family homes, not necessarily duplexes or quadruplexes, but single families, we locate them in the outstanding suburban school systems, ones that are either attached to Oklahoma City or they may be a little bit out where they're a feeder city, like Norman, Oklahoma, Shawnee, Oklahoma, El Reno, Newcastle. These are examples of a little bit outside the city, but still close. All right, so we look at their school systems and we say, hey, this is really good ratings. Hey, there's a lot of population moving there. They're building new schools and new facilities. Population is supporting the schools with bond issues. So we look at all those things that are extremely important. And so school is typically out in May, okay? Doesn't mean that people aren't wanting to rent before that time, especially if they're coming in to live. And we have a lot of relocation from outside the state coming in. And so what they're looking for is, let's say you're buying something in March and it's closing at the end of April, fantastic, perfect time. Now, when does the season start to kind of tailor off? That would be because of the start of schools. And they're all a little bit different, but they're all primarily August. So in other words, it can be August 15th. I've seen last year, August 6th. And so you're going to want to be in a home by that time. You've got to tell the school that you actually have a place that you're going to live, that you're renting in. So you're not going to go 2 or 5 days or 2 weeks after school starts. And so that's the way it is here. Now, it doesn't mean we can't rent it, but we always do kind of a $100 spread on rent to get you in, if you're in the fourth quarter, for instance, which is going to be a low period. Now, we don't do 12-month leases in the fourth quarter. We do 16, 18-month leases to get you out of the winter, but you're going to take a little bit lower rent. Now, let's contrast this with a market like Florida. So let's say you're in South Florida, okay? And we all know the term snowbirds. People live up in the Northeast, for instance, or, up in Michigan or wherever it happens to be that gets extremely cold. And so, I want to retire. I want to get out of here. I want warm weather. I want to come to South Florida. And so what happens is prime rental season is December through March. In fact, we own short-term rentals in Florida, in South Florida. And I can tell you that December through March is fully booked a year in advance. And so if you're buying in these markets for investment, that's where the seasonality happens there. When you talk to your realtor, wherever you're dealing with investment property, ask them those questions, because it's going to affect what you pay for the property. It's going to affect how you lease it and for what you lease it for. To everything, there is a season. That includes the rental market.